Well, hello everyone. Thank you, Rick Brandenburg, for having me on Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll. And you know, I watch every episode of Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll, and Rick's on most of them. And I know it's great to have somebody considerably better looking than Rick Brandenburg doing this. So here I am, man, you know. And so let's talk a little bit about weed management here, and let's talk about transitioning from the spring until the summer. One of the things we need to talk about, and I've been working in this area for a long time, and I get these questions every year, whether it's Poa annua or it's some kind of winter annual weed. Get over into the springtime, and you know, these plants are flowering, whether it's annual bluegrass or Poa annua or henbit or chickweed or something like that, and they're flowering. They're really objectionable. Typically, we don't recommend herbicides be used when plants are flowering. A couple reasons. One is they're very hard to kill when they're flowering, if not impossible. In the case of Poa annua, it's essentially impossible to kill them when they're flowering. The other thing is, guess what? They're getting ready to die out on their own anyway. So when a plant flowers, it's completing its life cycle in the case of an annual weed. So remember that winter annual weeds, whether you're talking about henbit, chickweed, I could go on down the list, annual bluegrass, sometimes we call it Poa annua, which is the Latin name. We use that interchangeably. Remember, they germinate in the fall. And so our control measures really need to be aimed in the fall, and even though you don't really see them in the fall, we need to manage them in the fall. And in the spring, you know, not to say if it's early March or something, we can't control them, but when it gets over into April and May, we don't really recommend herbicidal control because they're hard to kill and they're getting ready to die anyway. So by the time, you know, a herbicide will kill them, they'll be died out anyway. What we do recommend is keep it mowed, particularly in warm season grasses, where the warm season grasses are not really growing and they're kind of transitioning into that spring, summer phase. Just mow them down. That adds to the heat stress. You know, mowing is a really good weed management practice. We don't ever talk about it that much, but mowing really injures a plant. So when you have them, particularly in warm season grasses, those winter annual weeds, and they're objectionable, best thing to do, get your mower out, go mow them, keep them mowed down. They're not objectionable when you do that. The other thing is that exacerbates the heat stress and allows them to die out more quickly. So that's generally how we recommend managing winter annual weeds in turf in the late spring. So hope you enjoyed this really short tip on managing weeds in this transition phase between spring and summer. And again, thanks for Rick for having me on Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll. So have a successful summer, everyone. Thank you.